Tariffs, how will they affect the auto industry? It'll affect some manufacturers more than others, and cars could get more expensive. There's so much that can change in the near term and long term, and we're going to try to tackle that. Trump wants tariffs. Why? Why does he want tariffs? Well, he wants to stop fentanyl from entering into the country through Canada, through Mexico, and he wants to stop illegal immigrants coming through Canada and the both Canadian and Mexican borders. If those two things get taken care of, if those two things we see cooperation with Mexico, with Canada, then these tariffs could just be dissolved. That would be my guess. But who knows how well these countries are going to cooperate to get these things done. In the meantime, until these things get fixed, which who knows how long it could take, it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be years, it could be decades. We don't know. But Canada and Mexico are slapped with 25% tariffs. Hey, so this is Future Kirk. I'm filming this a day after you see the rest of the video because things are evolving and the things I say in the rest of the video are still relevant. But this is something I had to look up. Trump has said that we've had an unfair deal with a lot of these countries. And look, BMW is saying, hey, well, you know, the European Union has had a 10% tariff on United States built vehicles. Meanwhile, we've only had a 2.5% on imported German or European vehicles. They're saying, hey, well, let's just make it an even playing field. We'll go down to 2.5%. That could possibly solve the potential tariffs for the European end of things. Okay. Even playing field, low import tariffs on both ends. All right. So that's that. But Canada, after all the videos, all the recording I made earlier yesterday, Canada said, hey, well, we're just going to tariff you back. That's not, here's the thing. Canada's not, unfortunately, in the position to be able to like dictate things, in my opinion. They have to be able to strike a deal with Trump here. And that's what BMW is looking to do. I know BMW is not a country, but BMW is saying that the EU needs to do that to avoid this catastrophic war. Tariff war. That's going on. All right. So like, yeah, my orange juice, that's not my orange juice, but the Floridian orange juice that's made down here, it's going to get tariffed and whatnot. But up in Canada, would you rather have maple syrup or orange juice be tariffed? Let me know which one you need more in your life. All right. So tariffs threaten to bring North American auto production to a screeching halt. So because profit margins are only around 10% in the automotive sector, from parts to the full-on automakers, with 25% tariff, you're out of luck. Like you're gonna be losing potential, like what, 15%? You'll be 15% in the red. All right. And this could stop production not only in Canada and Mexico, but it could stop production on assembly plants in the United States that require tons of parts that are made in Canada and Mexico. So it's a complete mess right now, but I'm going to talk about in the rest of the video that I filmed yesterday how if things work out, this shouldn't last very long. All right. Hopefully everyone comes to an agreement, stops this chaos, because there are a lot of jobs involved here, billions of dollars of industry. And yeah, we don't want things to be more expensive. We want a safer country. That's what Trump is asking for anyways. He wants a safer country with less illegal drugs entering the country through the borders and less people coming through the borders that haven't gone through the legal process. All right. So pretty rational, but I'm going to end it there and let's get into the regular programming that I filmed yesterday. I was at Target this morning and I'm like, well, just for S's and G's, I'm going to buy Corona. This is the last time I'm going to see Corona, at least for a while, on a sale. Canada produces a lot of stuff for the United States. I shop at Trader Joe's a lot and there's a lot of Canadian products that come down to the United States. So you can just see here how dependent we are on Mexican imports and Canadian imports. Like, look at this. Montana, 86% of Montana's imports come from Canada. 40% of Texas imports come from, I almost said China because I'm looking forward to California, but yeah, from Mexico, just the whole southern portion, right? And 25% of the imports that California is dependent on is from China. All right. Nevada also a high amount. Also Florida, right? Florida, but look how diverse Florida is. Only 11%. Most of these states are much higher dependent. Gosh, what's Malaysia? What's the deal with Idaho and Malaysia? That is a head scratcher. We'll get to cars here in a little bit. And I guess we can start right away with Oregon. Why does Oregon have such a high import of Japanese? Why is that the biggest import products? Because Japanese made cars land into the port of is it Portland? That would make sense, right? Portland, Oregon. We see a lot of Japanese cars. When I was working for Lexus, a lot of them would be coming through the Oregon port and then put on rail to go throughout the country. Maryland, Germany. There's some Irelands in here, like Indiana. There must be a lot of Irish people in Indiana or something. What else sticks out? Australia. So DC likes Australia. Wages have been rising. Car prices have been rising. But our they kind of plateaued here since late 2022 car prices. But with tariffs, who knows what's going to happen? You could say, well, you know, the ones made in Mexico and Canada are just going to instantly get, if you're looking at a CRV, I don't know, $9,000 more expensive or something like that, right? So an extra 25%. So we're going to get into the countries that send the most cars to the United States. And big surprise, Mexico sends about $70 billion worth of cars to the United States. So many manufacturers export from Mexico and import into the United States. Japan, but Japan's not hit with tariffs. You get the standard 2.5%. I believe that's what it is, but no more than that. Canada, 25%. South Korea, so I was going to say 2.5%. Germany, Slovakia. What makes Slovakia? What cars come from Slovakia? You guys will tell me. I'm sure it's like German cars. Italy. All right, we see Italian cars. Belgium, Volvo has plants in Belgium and Sweden, Italy. So that'd be Stellantis products like Alfa Romeo, for example. All right, but the big ones, guys, look at this. You could say $100 billion worth of cars enters the country from Canada and Mexico. All right, and takes up probably more than half the imports themselves. Also, keep in mind, it's not just cars, but things that go across the border from Canada and Mexico. Anything, as far as I'm aware, besides oil. Oil is only 10% tariff. All right, that, you know, if energy gets too expensive, we're all screwed. But when we see these tariffs on parts for the supply chain, and let's say they have to go back and forth across the border multiple times, we could see parts manufacturers just disappear in a matter of weeks, months situation. And then when we have parts supply issues, well, look what happened when we have parts supply issues. All right, this is that huge jump right here, the microchip shortage. It's from 2021 to 2023. The lack of supply of parts, then we have a lack of cars, a higher demand, and then they can charge whatever they want. All right, which, you know, it's starting to level out, but it's still, cars are still too expensive. General Motors also just canceled a third shift in Mexico at the Ramos Arizpe plant. They make some EVs there, like the Prologue, the Equinox EV. Once EV tax credit is effectively gone, which I believe it is at this point, I don't know if it's still lingering, but I wouldn't be interested in buying an EV right now without the EV tax credit. That's just me. But I'm sure some of you guys will have your own things to say about EVs with or without a tax credit. A big part of this, as well, as besides stopping fentanyl and drugs from killing us, as well as illegal immigrants from coming in, another big part is that he wants American business to grow. Okay, if it's too expensive to build cars in Canada and Mexico, maybe they'll start being built here, but that takes time. It takes a long time for supply chains to be reworked. Production capacity for parts and cars just don't like come out of thin air. It takes years and years and years for that to happen. All right, but like I said, some of these tariffs could drop off, absolutely, if there's work being done to stop those major issues I talked about at the beginning of the video. All right, this is the third time I've started recording on this video just because I find more information, and I guess it's a good thing. It's a good thing that I didn't rush this video out. More information is typically better, right? So we're over in Nikkei Asia, and they show us how many vehicles per manufacturer are exported from Mexico to the United States. This does not include Canada. Now, we'll briefly talk about this, but then we're going to go into this new thing that I just found. Check this out. This spreadsheet or list that I found over at Automotive News tells us where each vehicle is made in North America. This is going to be a lot of fun to talk about. But all right, what we're going to do is we're going to ping pong back and forth. We're going to look at General Motors. General Motors exports like 700,000 vehicles from Mexico. All right. And then they also make pickup trucks in Canada as well. All right. So absolutely huge amount of vehicles. Nissan, tons of vehicles. Well, let's start with General Motors here. General Motors, Canada. This is where, well, some bright drop vehicles, big whoop. All right. Ontario, they make the Silverado in Canada. Yikes. All right, we're going to keep going. We know at the Ramos Arizpe plant, they make the Optic, well, the Cadillac Optic, haven't driven it yet, Chevy Blazer gas and EV, Equinox gas and EV, and the Honda Prologue. I don't know how long they'll make the Prologue because Honda is going to be making the 0 Series SUV that I just showed for you guys in Ohio. All right. Also, San Luis Potosi, they make more Equinoxes and GMC Terrains. And the Silao plant, Chevy Silverado, Cheyenne Crew Cab, and GMC Silverado or GMC Sierra Crew Cab. What's a Cheyenne? Do they call it the Cheyenne down in Mexico or something? Is a trim level on Chevy trucks for many years. You guys will tell me. I don't know that much about Chevy trucks, I'll be honest. Yeah, and for General Motors, 26% of the cars that sold in the U.S. came from the Mexican factories. Holy smokes. Ford's figure was 17. So we're not even, I think we're done with the General Motors. Let's go into Ford now. What does Ford make in Canada and Mexico? Ford makes Ford GT is not made there anymore. Ontario, they make the F-Series Super Duties. And Mexico, they make the Mustang Mach-E. I didn't know that. I knew about the Maverick and the Bronco Sport being made down there. I didn't know the Mach-E was also made in Mexico. All right. So there you go. That's how Ford is going to be hit. Now the 10% tariff is still a thing on Chinese cars. So that's going to affect some Lincoln cars like the Nautilus that I drove. So keep that in mind. We said Ford's affected 17% of their volume. Nissan though, even though their volume isn't as high, around 300 plus thousand, Nissan is very heavily affected because 40% of Nissan sales, Nissan's already struggling. 40% of Nissan sales are from Mexico. Let's go back to the chart here. Let's find good old Nissan. Nissan, Mexico, Aguas Calientes. They make the Kicks, the March. Don't even know what that is. Let's look up Nissan March. Oh, is it the same thing as the Micra? Okay, that makes sense. The Versa, the Sentra, the March, the Kicks. Some Frontiers are made down there. Not for our market, I don't think. All the Frontiers for our market are made down in Canton, Mississippi. It's not looking good for Nissan pre-tariff. Post-tariff, it's like they're gone. They're going to be completely wiped out unless they just import a bunch of cars from Japan, because Japan, as of right now, just has a 2.5% tariff. All right, let's move on from Nissan. Stellantis. This is a mystery for me. I don't know Stellantis. There's just so many different companies, right? What is Stellantis made in Canada? They make the Compass. Well, that's starting this year, which is a really cool looking car. I'm really excited for the Compass, actually. Chrysler Pacifica is made up there with the plug-in hybrid and the gas. The Voyager, of course, the Charger, and the Stealth. Well, obviously not the Stealth. They're bringing back the Stealth, right? Down in Mexico, Stellantis Ram heavy duties and DX chassis cab. And then you also have the Ram ProMaster van. At the Toluca plant, you have the Cherokee, the Compass, the Wagoneer. So Stellantis has a lot invested in Mexico. All right, let's go back to here. Volkswagen. I know the GLI, I think the Taos, I guess I just read, that's why we're here. The Jetta, the Taos, the Tiguan, and the Audi Q5. This is Audi's best-selling vehicle. So huge production volume is being tariffed here for Volkswagen and Audi. Very interesting. Remember, there could be tariffs for Europe, more than the 2.5%, but it looks like Europe's going to settle on reducing the import taxes on cars made in North America, especially the United States. All right. So what else do we have? After Volkswagen, well, Toyota. I don't even have to go over to Toyota. Well, I kind of want to because I want to see if anything else other than the Tacoma is made there. And no, they only make the Tacoma in Mexico. They don't make any other vehicles for any other markets for Toyota. But that's all their Tacomas. Every single if you thought the Tacoma was already overpriced, if you thought all these cars were already too expensive, well, yeah, what's good? They're just gonna have to turn off the plants because they can't make money with 25% tariffs, unless they just jack up the prices of the cars, and no one's gonna buy them. So yeah, it's bad situation. I forgot Canada for Toyota, which the NX and the RX are made there. The RAV4 is made there. And what's interesting is that the RAV4 is still made in the Kentucky plant, but the production for the RAV4 hybrid, I should say, that's made in the Kentucky plant is supposed to go to Canada in theory. That plan may be just shot out of the sky. All right, maybe they keep RAV4 hybrid production. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows in Kentucky? RX, NX, RAV4, and RAV4 hybrids. All right. So, yeah, not looking good for Toyota. Not looking good for the Tacoma, the NX, RX, and the RAV4. All huge volume sellers, right? So let's go to Honda. Honda has the, I'll find Honda. In Canada, they make the Civic. They make the EUV. Well, that's what they're saying here. The thing is, this whole plant from Honda, their, I guess, EV plant that's going online in Canada is put on hold, as far as I'm aware, with the political situation. So these vehicles are just going to be postponed, more than likely. The Honda Civic, though, Honda Civic sedan is made up there in Canada, as well as a CRV is made up there. In Mexico, they'll be making the Acura ADX. I'll be driving very soon on the channel next month, and the HRV. We just need to, Honda put some hybrids on those HRVs, but I mean, if they're going to be tariffed to the moon, then maybe not. Who else? Hyundai Kia. Hyundai Kia is they export a lot from Mexico. The K4, and there's talks about Kia doesn't really know what to do with the K4. They were planning to sell 120,000 or so in the United States in 2025. And now it's just they might have to send them somewhere else. And that's the thing with a lot of these cars. They don't want to stop production because that's not good for employees. So they might have to sell these cars to other markets. But in other markets, it gets tricky because you can't fetch the same price as you can in the United States. It's a very, very tricky situation. Here we go. What's made in Mexico for Hyundai? Tucson. Yikes, that's a volume car. Kia Forte, rest in peace. The K3. Oh, we don't get the K3, right? The K4. The K4. So they don't seem to be that badly affected right now, but Tucson's a big one. K4 is a big one. All right. Who else on the list as we go? Mazda. So Mazda 2, which we don't get. Mazda 3. CX-3, I think they still make for certain markets, but not for our market, obviously. That was discontinued in 2020 or something like that. BMW, they make a lot in Spartanburg, South Carolina. A lot. Did I just sound like Trump there? Yikes. Let me know if it was me just thinking I sound like a lot. Yikes. BMW 2 Series, 3 Series, iX3 is coming. It's coming. It's not here yet. M2 is made down there. Yikes. So 3 Series, 2 Series. I thought there was more that was made down there. I found the QX50 and QX55. These cars are all going to be discontinued. This plant is going belly up. All right. These manufacturers are not working together. And these cars are just not selling well. I don't think that as well as they want them to. They're not competitive enough, I don't believe. All right. So I think I've covered just about everything. Subaru's fine. Mercedes-Benz seems to be fine. Rivian's fine. VinFast, well, they don't make any cars in North America yet, but I would assume just a 2.5% because they're made in Vietnam. This plant hasn't even, I don't even know if this plant's even broke ground. So VinFast, just that they might be more of a mess in the tariff situation. Volvo, well, they don't make any cars in Canada or Mexico. So I think I've covered everything on that list. There's other good information in this article as well. over at Nikkei Asia. I mean, you can just see Canada used to produce and export so many more vehicles into the United States than Canada. And then all that changed around 2016. And the Mexican imports just dwarf the Canadian ones. They're looking for that cheaper labor, that cheaper production cost. And yeah, I mean, Canada's kind of remained flat, but Mexico is just boom. 2020 or 2009 onwards, they've been building plants, building production capacity, build in Mexico. And we'll see. We'll see if that was a good idea. It's not looking like a good idea right here, right now, but maybe long term, we'll see. You know, it looks like the president of Mexico is more willing to stroke a deal with the United States right now compared to Canada. We'll see where that goes. If you guys would, I think I've covered just about everything I wanted to right now. But if you guys want me to keep covering this, because I'm sure it's going to keep evolving, let me know in the comments. And make sure you subscribe, because if I come up with another video, you want to be notified. Hit the bell icon, that sort of thing. If you guys enjoyed today's content, hit the like button. I try to be as politically neutral as possible. Really, only talk about the facts. Why Trump's doing this, why there's repercussions, what the implications are for the American Canadian citizens, especially. I think I have a good Canadian viewer base as well. I feel bad for Canadians. Do I feel bad for? I don't know. I feel bad for everyone. It's not like I pity Canadians or anything. We're all going to be okay. That's probably the thing. Is like, guys, we're all going to be okay. The governments are going to work this out. I don't trust government really at all, but I think they're going to work this out. I think long-term, everything's going to be A-okay. It's just complete chaos right now, but you got to have hope that things are just going to work out okay. What's the worst that's going to happen? Well, this video, cars are more expensive. Just don't buy a car. Most of us don't need to buy a brand new car. Your current car is going to work just fine. That's not what the manufacturers want to hear. Their whole business is predicated off of selling new cars. Not everyone needs a new car. Not everyone needs a new phone. Not everyone needs to consume at an insanely high rate. All right. Maybe this is a good thing. Maybe this is a good fast for us. Maybe we don't always need to have X, Y, and Z to be the newest, shiniest thing to keep up with the Joneses. All right. I don't know. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. It's not good for consumerism and capitalism to just be like, hey, I can't afford things. So I'm just going to focus on the things that matter, which is hanging out with family, hanging out with friends, investing in people, investing your time, quality time with those around you instead of worrying about the next gadget, gizmo, or car that you're going to buy that has a big tariff on it. I don't know. I'll see you guys in the comments. Stay safe out there. And may you stay safe from big tariffs. Peace.